Okay. So what is Salesforce? First question, right? Salesforce is basically a CRM. What is a CRM?
Customer
Anybody?
relationship management.
Customer relationship management. Absolutely. So what do you mean by customer relationship management? What kind of software is this? What
It's
does
a
it do?
cloud.
Any yeah.
It is a cloud-based technology.
Cloud-based CRMs can be cloud-based, CRMs can be on-premises. There are two ways a software can work. On-premise means something which you install on your desktops or your machines, and if you do not need to install anything and it runs on a browser, then that is a cloud system. That is that's a brief, but like a broad definition of cloud. We'll get into more granularities of cloud. So cloud does not require you to install anything. There is no infrastructure required. It is running in cloud. That means over internet, and you are just accessing that application using a browser. So any device which is where you can open a browser, you are able to access that software, right? But on premise means you have to install it on your infrastructure, your own infrastructure. It can be a desktop, it can be a server, anything else, right? So we are not doing that for Salesforce. That is fine. That is a cloud, and there are other ways of explaining cloud. Cloud is like a rental property, right? You have an apartment and there are multiple flats, right? You take one flat for rent. Okay, you are not owning it, you are not buying that flat. Okay, you have gone for a rental. What does it mean? That is still your house, right? Nobody is entitled to get inside without your permission, right? Even the apartment owner does not have the opportunity to get into your house, right? They cannot do that. So but if you have a flat, it is your private space, but you are like renting it out from the owner, right? Any day you can walk out. You say that I want to go to another different apartment. I don't like this one, I want to change to a bigger house or something of the sort. Whatever is your requirement, you can move any day out, right? So the day till you are in that apartment, you are paying for it. The day you are not using that apartment, you stop paying for that. So exactly the same model with Salesforce. Salesforce has a subscription model. That means you will have a login and password, just like you have a Netflix account. I think many of you have a OTT platform account, right? Certainly we see movies on our mobile phones, and you probably have a subscription for any of these OTT platforms, and you pay monthly or annually, whatever, right? Your model is of payment is, and till the time you're paying for that OTT platform, you're seeing the movies, right? And then the day you stop paying, you're outside. You are no longer able to access that OTT platform. Similarly, in Salesforce, till now, Netflix is a personal account, but Salesforce will have a corporate account. That means Salesforce is bought by a company. Usually, it will not be an individual person who will be creating an account of Salesforce. It will be a company creating an account in Salesforce, and all the employees of that account or a specific set of employees of that account will be able to log into Salesforce. Is it clear now? And company will pay for the rental, as we said, or the subscription. And so long the company is paying for that rental, the employees will be able to log in. The day company stops paying the rental fee or subscription fee, nobody will be able to log into Salesforce, right? So how do we log into Salesforce? Simple, very easy. Login.salesforce.com. That's the URL which is enough for you to access Salesforce. Yeah. So now let's talk about. So we discussed who is purchasing Salesforce. Anybody gives a try? Who is purchasing Salesforce?
The organization who's selling something to someone.
Great, fantastic, good point. So first and foremost is a company, right? Who is purchasing Salesforce? So when or organization is basically purchasing Salesforce, we call that an org or organization. In Salesforce world, somebody will say, I have created an org for you. Org is just an instance of Salesforce. That is a bounded space. That is the flat which has been purchased or rented. Purchased is not rented, right? Because you are paying a subscription fee. So that is your private space. That is the organization's private space. This data inside this organization is not accessible to anybody else. It's just like your inbox. If you log into Gmail, you have a user ID and password, and you can see all your mails. Everybody is logging to gmail.com, right? Can somebody with their different email user ID password can see your mails? They cannot see your mails, right? So your inbox is tied to your user ID and password. Similarly, all the people who are logging into Salesforce are tied to one of these orgs. Okay. So there are in a normal business can be more complicated, but in a normal business, we have a buyer and we have a seller. Who do you think will purchase Salesforce? The buyer or the seller or both?
So the seller will need the Salesforce to
Mhm.
maintain the required products or the customers, details of the customers.
Okay. Seller needs Salesforce. Okay. Anybody else who objects or has a different view or thinks that buyer might also require Salesforce?
Sir, I think the seller is the only person who needs the Salesforce org,
Mhm.
so that they can make a better Salesforce has a 360-degree perspective for the complete journey, which we call as a customer journey, right?
Mhm.
So for that reason, the seller needs the Salesforce org.
So let me rephrase my question. Who is the customer? Is the buyer or the seller? When we say customer relationship management, who is the customer? The buyer or the seller?
So actually, what I think is like Salesforce itself is an organization, and it
Mhm.
is selling its facilities to other businesses for helping them to develop sales and marketing and everything, to manage
That's fine.
the sales of the
That's
other
fine. That's
businesses.
fine. I have a company. It's called Reebok, right? My company is called Reebok. I sell caps and shoes, right? I am selling caps and shoes to TCS and Cognizant. Okay. That is a B2B business. A company is selling to another company. Okay. We'll concentrate on B2B today. And most of our work in B2B. CRM is usually very beneficial for B2B scenarios. Okay. So, but what is B2C? How different will that be? Give me an example how this can become a B2C business.
So business to directly end customers,
Who can be the end customers?
the customers of our clients.
No, give me an example. Reebok is still the seller. How will I change Reebok selling to TCS Cognizant, which is a B2B business to business, as that is the full form of B2B? That means a company selling to another company. Business, that means a business company is selling to another business company. TCS and Cognizant are both organizations, right? So one organization is selling to another organization. How will B2C be defined? What is B2C then? What kind of business is B2C? How
Like
will
if I
Reebok,
if I buy
buy from Reebok.
you go to Reebok showroom and you buy the shoe for yourself,
Buy
right?
from it.
Absolutely. That means an individual, when it is making a purchase on his individual capacity, then from the same company, that is B2B, B2C. And when the company is basically buying from another company, it is a B2B business, right? So a company can do both. Reebok can have both B2B and B2C business, right? Both for both, they can use Salesforce because both are customers. Here, maybe the guy whom I am selling is Animesh Banerjee. Reebok is selling a shoe to Animesh. That is B2C business. Reebok is selling to TCS and Cognizant is B2B business, right? So who is the customer here? And whose customer? Who is the customer and whose customer?
So for both cases, TCS here, business TCS and Cognizant are the customers of Reebok, and here an Animesh Banerjee is the customer for Reebok itself
For
again.
Reebok, absolutely. So Reebok is the seller who needs who needs a software to manage his customers, and of course, this is the customer side. That means he's the buyer. Correct? So buyer can be a B2B buyer, buyer can be a B2C buyer. Clear? So seller is the person who will purchase Salesforce. Okay. TCS can again sell to other people. In that case, TCS can also go for a Salesforce for its individual capacity. But that's a different instance of Salesforce. As we said, the org will be different. That data of TCS will be different, just like Reebok has its own organization. Simple, clear? So a company which is purchasing or a company which is a buyer can also be a seller for some other products. Definitely TCS and Cognizant are also sellers. Okay. So let's now talk about some granular details about buyer. So we have the seller and we have the buyer. So what is the company in the selling side called? We just discussed.
Org.
Org, absolutely. So the org is basically the company, which is basically purchasing Salesforce, and we'll see this, right? And the employees of the selling org, they are called users. These are the people who are logging into Salesforce. Okay. There can be many types of users. Okay. Standard use, selling, people who are selling, people who are giving post-sale service, management, any different departments of that organization or selling organization can log into Salesforce, right? For several different requirements of data visibility and stuff, as well as the technical administrator of Salesforce will also log in, right? That is exactly your job. So your job is to configure and customize Salesforce instance and make it meaningful and useful for the selling organization. So you are basically working as either a consultant or an employee of a selling org who has a Salesforce instance. Is it clear? So your kind of user is called a system administrator. When you are creating a play like playground in Trailhead, you are automatically created as a system administrator so that you can play around, you can make changes into Salesforce. But usually when you create users, when you in turn will create users, you can create another system administrator, or you can also not create system administrators. So what can a system administrator do? What can a non-system administrator do? A system administrator can change Salesforce behaviors, can create automation, can change screens, everything. Make it customizable and useful for the people who are entering data or using Salesforce. They cannot change Salesforce, right? So who are basically using Salesforce? The sales people, service people, and other people, management people, and so on, right? So these people will only enter data, use Salesforce, see data. They will only do create, edit, read, and delete operations with the data. They are only able to do these 4 operations on data. You, in turn, can do all these things. Of course, you are a super user. So you can behave like a normal user, but you can also work on metadata. What is a metadata? Metadata is a definition of data. You are the person who can change the definition of data. What is metadata in nutshell? We'll come to more granular details. So metadata is like changing Salesforce, creating a new field, okay, creating a new table, right? That is a definition of a data, right? Where to store this data. If you want to define a new field, that is a definition of data you are providing to the people. We'll go into that granularity at a later date. But your job is basically from the seller side. Okay, your company can be different. It can be or organization like Bong Bong. Maybe we are working for Reebok to change their Salesforce org, but we are actually working as an employee of Reebok to change Reebok, right? It does not matter whose payroll you are, but you are working on behalf of the seller. That is very important to understand. Okay. Now, what is buyer? A buyer can be a organization and buyer can be individual. We already saw that, right? So buyer information is stored inside Salesforce. What are the tables wherein we are storing it? The company information is stored in account. What do you think is a mandatory information that needs to be stored in this table? What column is needed in this table? Think about Excel file. What column is bare minimum needed for you to store the company information?
Company name.
Company name. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else you think is important?
So the time zone and the currency.
Doesn't matter. That comes later. It's not mandatory, right? So bare minimum mandatory field for account is the name. That's it. You can create an account with just the name. And the employee of those accounts, those companies with whom you are working with, does not need to be all employees. You don't work with when you are purchasing or buying and selling. You are not engaging with 4 lakh employees of TCS. So you don't have to create 4 lakh contacts for every organization you create. You will only create the contacts with whom you are working with. Probably Reebok wants to sell shoes and caps for a marathon event that TCS is organizing for his employees. So you need 100, TCS needs 100 shoes and 100 caps for their employees. That needs to be branded with TCS logo. That will come from Reebok. So TCS will say, okay, send me this 100 shoes and 100 caps for my employees for my event. Here, the employees are not purchasing. Here, TCS is purchasing on behalf of the employees, right? So the people who are doing this deal with Reebok, maybe the marathon manager, maybe the HR, maybe the finance department, whoever is involved in that deal, Reebok will only store these people's information in Salesforce, in contact. Okay. What do you think are the bare minimum information of a contact?
Name again.
The last name. Mandatory field.
He has played with Salesforce, that's why she knows it. Name again, of course. So last name is by default made mandatory in Salesforce, but it's an individual. So it does not have just one name field. It has first name, last name, salutations, and everything. But last name is the only thing which is mandatory. Okay. Relationships between two tables can be of 3 types: one-to-one, one-to-many, and many-to-many. What is one-to-one? What is one-to-many? What is many-to-many? One-to-one means one row of a table is associated to only one row of another table. That is a one-to-one relationship. When one table is associated to many rows of another table, that is a one-to-many relationship, right? That means one row of one table, table A, is associated to 10 rows of table B. That means table A has a one-to-many relationship with table B. Okay, let's see, visualize this. So this is table 1, this is table 2. If a table and there are multiple rows, it is row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4. And here we have similarly row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4. 2 tables, right? If one row is only associated to one row, that is 1-to-1 relationship. We'll call this 1:1. If one row is associated to multiple rows this side, then we'll call to one-to-many relationship. It is written as 1:n, not m. Okay, n for number, any number. If a row is associated to many rows from this side, and this row is also associated to many rows from this side, from both sides is one-to-many relationship. One row of this is associated to this, and one row of this is also associated to many rows of this side. That means one-to-many relationship from both sides, right? Then it is a many-to-many relationship. Okay, we write it as n by is to n. Okay, very clear? Any confusion? What do you think is the relationship between account and contact?
Can it be a many-to-many relationship?
Explain why.
One account can have relation with numerous contacts, and individual contacts can have relationship with more than one accounts.
No.
It be possible.
Can it be possible? We are not discussing contacts and accounts as individual and companies. Not really. We are discussing about employees.
Okay,
Can
then one to
employee
many.
stay in multiple companies?
No, then one to many.
Which side is one? Which side is many?
Account will be one and contacts will obviously be many.
So it's a one-to-many relationship, right? We also write it this way. So there's a fork on the side of n, and there's a one line on the side of this. So you can also write it this way. Okay. So one-to-many relationship. Clear why one-to-many relationship? Okay. Some tables are given by Salesforce by default. Okay. Those we call, now we will define those. So those we call standard objects. Standard objects cannot be deleted. Standard objects cannot be created because this is already given by Salesforce. Okay. You can add. So table, we will no longer use the term table from now on. We will use the term called object. In Salesforce, a table and object is the same thing. So table is equal to object. The column of a table is called field. Okay. And row of a table is called record. Is it clear? So set these terms very clearly on your head. Take your time to understand this, but I will keep on using these three terms now. I will not use table, column, row. I will talk about object, field, and records. Let's visualize it once again. This is the table. Here we have multiple columns. When we call a column on the top header, you will define the name of the column, right? Every time name, phone number, something. That's a column header, right? The column header values, these are called fields of a table. The whole table is called object, and individual rows wherein I am putting a name on image 9836, blah blah blah. So every row is basically a record of that table. Clear in Salesforce terms? So record is a row in a table. R, very easy to remember. Oh, table is object. T and O are side by side. Should not take your time to realize that. And field is column. Okay, so that's the only odd thing to remember. Okay, anybody who is working on a table or modifying a table as a whole is basically working on metadata, and that is the only power is only given to system administrators. Okay, we'll discuss that later. So a table which is given by Salesforce or an object given by Salesforce automatically is called a standard object. When a table is given, there are columns also given with it. A table cannot happen without columns, right? Or fields. The available fields are called standard fields given by Salesforce already. You cannot delete the standard fields. Okay, that will forever be there. Whether you use it or not, it does not matter. Those are there. You cannot delete it. Okay. On a standard object, you can create your own fields. That will be called custom fields. What is a standard object? Give me an example of a standard object. Did we learn anything till now? Tell me the name.
Name, account number can be a standard object.
Standard object. What is the object?
Table.
Table. Name is a table.
Oh, no.
So, what is a table? Remember a table. We discussed two tables already. Which two tables?
Buyer, seller.
That was a table. Which tables did we discuss so far?
Account contact.
Account and contact. There are two tables we already discussed. So these are standard objects. Okay. In this table, what are you storing? What are you storing in account? Let's see the account table. Tell me how the account table will look like, or account object will look like. We'll definitely have a name field, right? How will be a contact table look like? Or contact object will look like? First name, last name, phone number. Account also can have phone number. So what are we storing here? Reebok is selling to TCS and Cognizant, right? What will Reebok store in his account table? Tell me. Come on, give a try.
Here we will save the details of the people, or the buyers.
Account stores what?
Account stores the like details of the contacts.
Contacts. Then what are we storing in contact then?
Sorry, I just puzzled up because there was an internet connection interruption. Could you please repeat the question again?
So what are we storing in account? What are we storing in contact? Let's go back to our early screen. This is the screen we remember, right? There are two tables now. One table or standard objects. One called account. Another standard object is called contact. What are we storing in account table? What are we storing in contact table?
So actually, we are using the the org of the Reebok. So in that case, we will there store the details of the accounts. That means here the accounts is, for example, the TCS or Cognizant. So all these organizations are the accounts. So we will there in accounts, we will store the details of the name of the account, the phone number and everything.
Yeah, give me the row. This is row 1, this is row 2.
Yeah. So in row 1, suppose we will store the name of first name we stored as TCS, and the contact number, the official contact number of the so and so, and then we will store the Cognizant, and so we will store the details. So in this way we are storing the details of accounts that are related to Reebok. And in contacts, we will store the details of the particular accounts. For example, in contacts, the contacts that are related to the accounts. Suppose TCS is having some employees connected with Reebok. So in that case, we will store the first name and the last name of those contacts that are related to TCS.
Yeah.
Details.
Give me some example. Maybe Nikita Roy.
Yeah. And then Arijit.
Maybe Abhishek Mandal. Maybe Arijit Ganguly. Maybe Swastika. Okay. Who belongs to TCS? Who belongs to Cognizant? How will I know it?
So we have to create a relationship with account and contact so that we can relate the particular contact to that particular account.
Clear?
Yes.
So we have to know that these two are TCS and these two are Cognizant, isn't it? Otherwise, how will you will store all contacts here, but you do not know which company do they belong to, right? So you have to associate an account with contact. Now you see this TCS is actually basically this one row is now getting associated to two rows. That is one to many relationship. Similarly, this row 2, is now getting associated to this row and this row. Two rows again. So 1:2, one to many relationship. That is how account and contact has a one to many relationship. Any questions so far? If you're confused, please ask. Yeah, rational thought process, everything should be crystal clear to you. Otherwise, you will not be able to understand or create a new table because you don't understand what is the relationship between two tables. Tables cannot be in silos. It will not, they always be related to some other table. And you have to figure out what is relationship with another table. Is it a one-to-one relationship, one-to-many relationship, or many-to-many relationship? Clear? These three. There is no other definition. We usually will never find a one-to-one relationship because if one row is associated to only one row in another table, there is no point of breaking it into two tables. You can as well join the two tables, right? One whole row. Join the fields of this table and this table, put it together in one table, one row is fine. Right? What is the point of having two rows, two tables, break it into two tables, right? So one-to-one relationship, very rarely. Well, I will give you an example of one-to-one relationship though, and why it has been done that way. But very rarely we'll see a one-to-one relationship. Very, very rare. Okay. So it will be either one-to-many relationship or many-to-many relationship. Okay. Any questions so far? So let's see how a salesman will work in his day. So you imagine yourself that you have got a new job and your job is a salesman. Okay. So how will you start your day when you join a new organization? How will you start selling?
I will look into the products first. We'll get knowledge regarding the products.
Yeah. Maybe your induction session has been done. You understand what are the products the company is selling. So where is the product stored? Will that be stored in CRM? Do you think product information will be there in CRM?
Yes,
Why?
because products will be the first thing a salesperson will look into, or he will get an idea of how to sell the product or which customers to sell that product.
Perfect. Very good. So we definitely have a product table in Salesforce. Okay. What do you think is a good field? Product objects is again a standard object.
Then product name.
Again, the name field. Good enough, right? We were discussing Reebok. So let's put two rows here. One is shoe and cap. Reebok might be selling more products. I don't care right now. Let's just concentrate our energies on these two products because these two are it is selling to TCS and CTS, right? So now let's go ahead. How you know about the products? You know this table will exist. Cap and shoe is there. Now what will you do? How will you start selling?
I need to
Before
have
selling, oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, give it a try. You guys will do awfully bad as a salesperson. You don't even know what is the first step of a salesman.
So we need the leads, like to whom to contact, the
What do you mean by
customers,
lead?
the customers.
Customers is a person who has already purchased your product.
I think I will, before selling any product,
Hmm.
I will first look into what kind of products the company has.
That
I
is
will
over.
check a
The discussion is
background.
over.
I
Product
will,
table, I have seen the products. That discussion is over. How will you start selling?
I will look for the potential
yeah,
customers
Potential
who
customer.
can
That is
be
the
a
exact word.
potential customer in future.
I'll
Yeah.
look for the regions where there is a need for those products more. There is a demand
How?
by checking the previous history of sales,
Previous history of sales is the people who have already purchased.
the revenue and
That is
all,
already tied up
annual
to a
revenues.
existing salesman. If you go and approach that salesman, your fellow salesman will come and kill you. Nobody will lose their customer. They have actual revenue targets. Every salesman has revenue targets. I don't know if you are aware of any salespeople who are working in your family or anybody else. Life is very competitive there.
Then sir, I will need the numbers of the customers or number of the person who have rejected my product.
Number of the people who have rejected your product.
Yes,
Why do you want to approach them?
because they can be the potential customers in future of organization.
Go and whom can you get these details from?
Like the persons who are not interested, like
Who are not
who
interested?
were not interested,
No, that's fine. But who will share this to
the
you?
company.
You are a new joiner, new salesman in your organization, Reebok. Very well. Everybody showed you what products you are
Mhm.
selling. You know about caps and shoes. You have to sell to TCS and you have to sell to Cognizant. How will you start your job? Imagine Reebok has never sold to TCS and Cognizant before. What is your plan of action? And you even don't, TCS has not come to Reebok and asked for any inquiries. Okay, that's not there also.
At first, will I do a campaigning,
Campaigning. What kind of campaign? Campaign is not done by salespeople.
marketing campaign?
That is done by marketing department, which is a good thing, but that is not your job. Advertisement campaigns, everything is done by a different department. It's nothing to related to you. If think that there is no marketing department in your organization, how will you work then? Are you saying the salesman is dependent on marketing? He cannot work at all without marketing department?
Sir, I will go to the nearby marketplace and look for what the need is, of the need for the product is.
A vague dialogue. Give me the steps of selling your cap and shoes to TCS and Cognizant. Let's be very specific about the requirement. I want to close a deal with Cognizant. I want to close a deal with TCS. How? You are a salesman. What will you do? I have a salesman with me who live walks in sales day in day out, 24 hours. Sales is a 24-hour job, by the way. I don't know he's listening to this conversation or not. Shobhan, you're there. Shobhan, you are there.
Yeah, Animesh, I'm there.
So can you educate the people how a salesman works without a marketing support? If I am a salesman, I want to close a deal with TCS and Cognizant, sell 100 shoes and 100 caps for their marathon event. How will I start my work? I am the first time salesman in Reebok.
Yeah, what they are saying. So it's
They have
difficult.
no clue how to start their day. They are going to lose their job again in the next day. All are fired because they are sitting together and thinking and thinking and the thinking. And after some period, they will be sacked. They will be given a pink slip because they cannot do their job. They could not answer. So how can we close a deal with TCS and Cognizant?
So I think these guys can answer only. They
I don't know.
just
No, they are completely short of words. They are saying that They don't even know what a salesman does. How can you build an application for a salesman? Can you do? If you do not know how the person who is using the software, you have to become that person, right? Then only you can make a software for that person. You don't understand the business and their day-to-day life.
So
How you
first,
build a software for them?
so I think first I will look for the like, no, this is completely wrong. Like words are just coming, flushing over my head and just going
Sushant, go
out.
ahead. Sushant wants to give a try. Sushant, how can you start the sales?
Yes, so first I checked is whose people exactly need this product, exactly this product, who
Let's
is
be
meant for.
specific. Don't beat around the bush. Answer question is very simple. I want to close a deal with TCS. I want to close a deal with Cognizant. Simple. That's my target for today. How will I start my day?
Okay. First check about purpose,
Purpose.
like which
Are
kind
you
of purpose
are you
meant.
guys imagining yourself as a salesman? You are going to an office. Your manager has come to you and he's saying that you need to close some deals today. TCS as Cognizant might have some requirements.
So I will
But
first present them the sample products,
whom?
the customers,
Who is the customer?
the
The customer is
TCS,
the person who has purchased your
TCS
product.
and Cognizant.
A
Not
person.
they are prospects, not customers, potential customers.
Now we are talking the right terms.
Yeah, I will
Potential
first make
customers
the
or
samples
prospects.
to the prospects.
How will you get the details of the prospects? How will you approach them?
So as you have already told that Cognizant and TCS are our like customers, so they are our potential
Not customers. I said that Reebok has never done a business with these two companies. That means they are
but
not
they have
customers.
a rising demand. Maybe they
They
have a
might
need.
have a demand, they may not have a demand,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
How will you check that? Have you seen any salesman come to your door, knocking at your door ever?
Yes.
Hmm?
I'll try to push the product to them.
No. First job is to go to their door.
Yes. I'll reach
As
out
a
to them
salesman,
first.
your first job is to knock on the doors. A salesman knocks doors. That is his main job. So what will you do? The hint is already there.
I will try to contact with the person in TCS and Cognizant who is responsible for the deal.
Simple answer. It took so long for you to decipher that what is your first step. Now you understand what you have to do. How will you do this?
I will go there with some samples of the shoes and the caps.
You will go
Required
there with the samples. Go where?
to TCS.
You will go to TCS. Okay, great. You went to the TCS office. Fantastic. Then what?
Then I will showcase. Then I will show them our products.
Who? Whom will you show? TCS has 4 lakh employees. In an office, there can be 10,000 people.
The person whom I talk with.
Whom did you talk with? That is a question I'm asking.
So shall I give a simple answer?
Please.
Yes, because this is a very simple question, which I feel is first I have given the job to sell a product. I will go to TCS. I will stand outside the building of TCS and try to push the product to each and every employee that gets in and gets out of
That
the
is
building.
B2C sales. We are not discussing B2C sales. We are discussing
Okay.
B2B sales.
Then
Let's
I'll
concentrate on
directly
the question.
approach to the
If you
regional,
are selling to employees of TCS directly,
then that is B2C,
TCS
right?
is not actually purchasing the product. So
Yeah,
this has
sorry.
nothing to do with your target. You are a corporate seller. You are selling to a corporate company. So whatever you told is not the right approach.
Yeah.
Nikita, you are trying to say something. You're going in a right direction. Tell me.
Yeah, I will try to approach to the regional head of the office. Maybe his personal assistant or someone will
How?
try to contact me.
How?
I'm sorry, I will try to contact that person.
How?
How? Okay. So how? Here comes the question.
Like the first search from a browser,
Hmm?
who is the first search from the browser, like who is the
Google.
exactly who is the man in charge, and if I talking with him and then I uh, show the my product and I sell this product, so who
That's
is
next
the
step.
main
That's
head?
next step. And in Google, you can get the name of a person who is the regional
Right,
head of TCS. That is good.
right.
But
So I'm
are you
directly
able
visit
to
there.
connect with this person? How will you connect?
I'll get the office contact number, the basic contact number
How?
where uh, from
How?
the Google, from the browser, not Google, but from the browser. I will try to get the details of the place, the address, the contact number.
Shobhanjit Ghosh is the regional head of TCS.
Yeah,
His office number is something which you have managed to find.
yes.
Usually, it is not something which you will able to find, but let's make it simple. On Google or on their website itself, his number is also displayed.
Or maybe I will try to reach out to him through some social media like platforms, maybe a LinkedIn
Connection, we are
or
coming to
maybe
that. We are
Facebook.
coming to that. So, first information which you have gathered is Shobhanjit Ghosh and his phone number, office number, right? Now you have a CRM platform. Where will you store that? You will not write in Excel sheet. You will not write on Notepad. You must enter
So,
every information which you are working on into the
so
CRM. Why? I will come to that. But where will you store that?
actually, it is stored in the cloud, so I don't need to carry anything. I can just carry a mobile phone also, maybe.
Stored where?
Salesforce is a cloud-based platform, so
Mhm.
all the presentations which I have prepared, I can store it in the Salesforce org itself.
Yes. Which table?
Buyer,
Did we
buyer or
discuss any table called buyer?
No, we will store it. We will create a table named prospects, and there we will store the details.
Great. Very good answer. So Salesforce has by default given a table called lead. It's a standard object. What should be the columns you think it should have? Tell me.
names, contact number, email ID.
Name. Is this an individual or a company?
Company. Company name.
Company.
Hmm.
Sure. If- How will you approach a company? You just right now said that I will reach out to the regional head. That cannot be company. That is a person.
So first, I think I will write the lead name and then the lead type, the
Lead
lead
name. What is
source.
the name? Give me the columns of this table. That is what I'm asking.
Okay, the first will be the lead name, and then the lead source from where the lead is getting generated, from
That
where
is,
I'm
we'll come
finding
to
the
that.
lead.
Lead. What do you mean by lead name? How will you have column name will be what name?
Oh yeah, name.
So in contact, how did we store the names of individuals?
First name and last name.
This was separate columns, right?
Yeah.
So why will I have a name field for individual storing if we are doing that for the lead?
So we will. Oh, sorry. Why I'm missing this part? I will associate the contacts with the. No, 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 not the contacts. I will. You're giving the hints actually. Suppose TCS is itself an account. So I will. I will like create a relationship between the lead and the account. So that I can draw the information about the. Oh no, no, no. Sorry. This is a prospect. About a prospect. So yeah, contacts.
You have not created an account yet because this is not your
Yes,
customer.
because this is not our customer. Yeah.
It may or may not become your customer.
So as a contact, I can store the name. So I don't need to put
Contact is
any
also
first
a
name or
customer.
last name.
Customer means two tables, the account and contact. Together is customer. You cannot store your prospects inside contacts. That is why Salesforce has given a lead table for you. So what can be the column names? Similar to contact. First name, last name, phone number, etc., etc. One critical information is company. This can be TCS. This can be Cognizant. I say Shobhanjit Ghosh, his phone number and TCS is what I need on the lead. So now we understand the lead table, right? So a lead is a person who may or may not be interested in your products. But why are we storing leads in Salesforce? What is the point of doing that? Do you think this is important to store lead information in a separate table? Any benefit out of that?
So because if the deals are not done in this deal, if the transaction is not completed in this deal, they can be a potential prospect for future also.
Absolutely. In sales world, we say no from a customer or a potential customer means not today. No does not mean forever no. Okay. So it is always a possibility that you can go back to that person again and again and again and again. If you have
One more.
not stored, hmm? Sorry.
Sorry. One more thing I wanted to add actually.
Mhm.
So if this lead is successful, like if the lead is ready to deal with us, means deal with the buyer, sorry, with deal with the seller, in that case, that lead will get converted into an opportunity.
Lead will get converted into three tables: account, contact, and
Contact and
opportunity.
opportunities. Yeah.
What is an opportunity? You have talked about another standard objects. You have brought in another standard object. What is an opportunity? How do you see an opportunity table? So lead is broken down into three tables. What is the relationship between lead and account?
Obviously, it will be one to many.
One to
So
many. One lead can be broken down into multiple accounts.
no. Account to lead, I'm saying, not lead to account. Oh, you asked lead to accounts.
Lead to account. Other way around also is not possible. Lead.
One to one, sir.
Why one to one?
Because one lead work in a one account, and that means one company.
One lead is converting into one account. Absolutely. One to one. It will never be converted into two companies, right?
Yes, sir.
I said that I will give you an example of one to one relationship. This is it. What is the relationship with lead to contact? Lead is also associated to a contact, right?
Can I try to my
One
side?
Yeah, tell me.
One lead and contact, right?
Lead and contact.
Is possible one to one and one to many as well.
One to one and one to many as well. If there there cannot be two options. Either it is one to one or it is one to many.
Then one to one, sir.
Why do you think one to many can be an option?
Because maybe like in a Bongbong Academy, like you also and Shobhanjit sir also. Like
Hmm.
so, it's not for that I'm talking only with you. because when arrange a one meeting, then there have so many people, like at least 2 3 people who is handle this company and all.
So this is unmanaged by another lead.
But both are work in a same company.
That's so how what is the relationship between this and contact? Both of them can work in the same company. No problem.
Right. Then 1 to 1, sir.
Anybody disagrees? When you are defining a relationship, think about only one row. Don't think about multiple rows. Try to find the association with one row to other rows of another table. That's how you have to define it. Understand it. Okay. Don't every table will have multiple rows. Don't worry about multiple rows. Just look at one row and see it is associated with multiple rows of another table or not. A lead is Shobhanjit Ghosh. When it is getting converted into a contact, it is also Shobhanjit Ghosh. It cannot become Animesh Banerjee. Right? So it is a one-to-one relationship. Shobhanjit Ghosh as a lead will get converted into Shobhanjit Ghosh as a contact. So when you convert, this lead is deleted from this table and it is inserted into contact. The company value is taken from here and one insert is made in the accounting table. Account table. One row is inserted there. Clear? And another row you may or may not insert in opportunity table. But we are discussing about opportunity table. What is an opportunity? Why do we need this table? People who have done or has played around Salesforce, they know that there is an opportunity object. But what is this used for? What does it store? Yeah, go ahead, Sushant. Opportunity
Yes, sir.
stores.
Opportunity, that means is basically is a deal. That means
Deal. Absolutely deal. Or an order.
like when I am revoked and how many product, like
A deal, a order.
47, like that.
Simple. A corporate order, a deal order. That is opportunity. What is the relationship between opportunity and product? Let me give you a little more easier view. This is opportunity table or opportunity object. This is product object. Product has a name column, right? Shoe, cap. Deal can also have a name. What deal? January order, February order. 2 deals every month. TCS and Cognizant are purchasing from us. They have separate events. Same salesman. Yeah, 2 rows. Row 1, row 2, row 1, row 2. What is the relationship between opportunity and product? What do you think?
One to many.
One to many. Which side is one? Which side many?
Opportunity side one, product side many.
Okay. So in January, I have ordered shoe and cap. 100 shoes and 100 caps. What will I do in February?
So I can again order 100 shoes and 100 caps.
100 shoes and 100 caps. So is it one to many? Go ahead, Nikita.
I think it is many to many relationship,
Why?
because suppose in January I am an opportunity and I am an opportunity and I need some products from the seller. So in January, suppose I ordered shoe and cap.
Mhm.
In like it can also be possible like in February or in March, in some other months, I need more than 2 or 3 products.
Mhm. Just concentrate on shoe and cap only. I will not increase the product. The product remains the same. Shoe and cap only. TCS and Cognizant already only buys shoes and caps from Reebok. Specific
There
brand.
can
One.
also be a possibility that there is a demand for shoe and cap in January, in February, in March as well.
Yeah.
So can we look into it as a many to many relationship then?
You will be telling me that
Okay.
what is this relationship and why is this relationship many to many?
Because suppose in January I ordered these two products, shoe and caps.
Hmm.
There is also a possibility that in multiple months there can be a demand for more than one product. So in that case, we are creating a many to many relationship.
That is not the definition of many to many relationship. That's the definition of one to many relationship. In January, I order shoes and caps. In February, also I order shoes and caps. In March, also I order shoes and caps. That means January order one row is associated to two rows in product table. One to many relationship. February again is associated, one row is associated to two rows in product table. One to many relationship. March is also associated to two rows. That is one to many relationship. This side, one to many relationship established. But what is a many to many relationship? So definitely from opportunity to product, it is a one to many relationship. There is no doubt about it. But how do I know that that relationship is a many to many relationship? What is the definition? We discussed this in our. Yeah, go ahead, Shushanta.
Yes, sir. Because one order has sorry, one product, sorry, order and product, right?
Hmm.
So one order has to be so many product, right? Because when I'm selling shoes,
One order is already associated to two products, more than one product. That's why it is a one to many relationship that is established. Now tell me, is it a many to many relationship? How do I know it is not a one to many relationship but a many to many relationship?
because many product has many order.
Many products has many orders is not the definition of many to many relationship.
Can it be
If each product is associated to multiple orders, or one product is associated to multiple orders, that means it is a one to many relationship from this table also. Product also has a one to many relationship with opportunity. When from both sides there is one to many relationship, then it becomes a many to many relationship.
So
How? Shoe
one
is
to many.
associated with January.
Sorry.
Shoe is also associated to February. Shoe might be also associated with March. That means one product is associated with multiple orders. Cap, again, associated with January, February, and March. One product is associated to multiple rows in the other table. I am telling you again and again, please look at only one row in any table to understand the relationship of that row with other rows of other table. Don't worry if that has multiple rows or not. It will always have multiple rows. That does not make it a many to many relationship. If one relationship, one row of one table is associated to multiple rows in another table, that is one to many relationship. If one row of this table is also associated to multiple rows of this table, that means one to many relationship from both sides, then it becomes a many to many relationship. Okay. One row from object A has to be associated with multiple rows in object B, and one row of object B has to be associated with multiple rows in object A. Then only it will be categorized as a many to many relationship, not before that. Clear? Any confusion? So
no?
opportunity or deal object is basically associated to product as a many to many relationship. Okay. I think we are quite late tonight, 1.5 hours. I will not take more time today. I think let's absorb these concepts, whatever we have studied so far. Please go and repeatedly watch this video and mug up all the concepts which we have discussed here. This is not available on any trailheads. Okay. But these are questions which is going to come in interviews in your day-to-day working life. Okay. So it is very, very critical to concentrate what we have discussed so far. Please remember, it is a lot of information we have covered over 1.5 hours. Huge information. It's not very easy to absorb this in one go. So try to see it again and again and again. Please note down any confusion or questions you have. We can address that in the second session. But before that, repeatedly watch this video. The more you will watch this video, the better prepared you will be for the interviews. That does not stop you from completing your trailheads. Trailheads you are completing almost like blindfolded. You are not understanding what I am doing. Don't get worried about it. It will all start making sense when the classes will cover to those topics. Yeah, your job is to keep on practicing at your home. We'll meet next week. Many concepts we discussed so far. We will take some more standard objects in the next class. Okay, but we need to understand a sales journey in and out. Otherwise, what will you develop for your salespeople? You have to become a salesman first. Then only you can create a software for a salesman. Okay, so start thinking like a salesman. Okay, any questions so far before we close the call today? All good?
No, that's it from my end. Thank you so much for the session.
Thanks for adjusting with me tonight. On Sunday, I had some some unplanned events, so I cannot accommodate that. That's why we had to bring this forward. I hope you enjoyed the first class and I did not freak you out. So there is nothing to be afraid of. All the concepts will make sense if you see this video again and again. It will be crystal clear to you. Please remember that every line I have said in this video is a huge set of information. So more you watch, more it will get into your head. Every line is very, very important, which has come out from my mouth today. And in any class, you will see a lot of congested information. So repeated watching is absolutely critical. Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care.
Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
So
Yeah, go ahead.